Let's go. We back for another one. Real quick, I'm even gonna start right now. I'm gonna give All right, I don't want to say who it is right away. I'm gonna give my guest some time to go ahead and share her link. Yes, if you can hear me as you in the backstage, all the links are in your email that I sent you. So you see you have access to that at the bottom. So there's a YouTube link and there's a Facebook link. I also want to give people some time to come on in. And then another thing is, I'm very conscious about my internet connection. And I think it's really weak, not stable right now. So I'm going to ask y'all to give me like a 1 minute intermission so I can go and look up my internet. In the meantime, I'm going to let the music play. Guess in the background, I'm going to be there with you. All right. That link right there is perfect. And then I'm just going to put it into the comment section. Yeah. All right. Got that Ethernet connected. My guest, I was looking at her in the background or in the backstage or whatever, and her face was all glossy. Let me go give me some lotion real quick. Let me go give me some lotion. So she be killing me. Melon popping. But anyway, I'm going to get to it. My internet, I think the Ethernet is connected. You good in the background? I can see you. You can give me a thumbs up. All right, for sure. Let me do some on both ends. Let me get to it, man. Welcome to another episode of Creating Black History in Las Vegas, aka the 1828. Look, man, I think we got a good thing going right now. We've had some amazing guests. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, feel free to go and look. I think we got like a lineup of episodes. You can check them out. Also, check out that YouTube link. The YouTube link got all the episodes listed. We got about episode 16. Matter of fact, today's guest is episode 16. And I have only one guest so far on this schedule. And I saw him today at the Shepherd's Breakfast. And he said, hey, thank you for being patient with me. All that stuff was going on at Rango High School. Everybody needed me to come out. So, he had to take his leadership up there to support their organization in the place. What was his name? Savoy. I got his name. I found out his name. I was calling Savoyer. Messing up my man's name. So he told me today, man, my name is. So looking forward to that interview. But today's interview can be fire. Because my guest, I don't think not everybody knows my guest, but I'm telling you, if you're a leader in the community, if you've been working with children, if you've been in the mental health space, if you're in the 89106, I know I've seen and I've been to one of her events over at the Carey Center. And we're going to go into it, man. So, welcome to the 1828 Project, a podcast dedicated to highlighting the stories and efforts of individuals who are creating positive change in their community. I'm your host, Brandon Ward, and today we are discussing creating Black history in Las Vegas. Our guest today is Ashley Dodson. Ashley is a philanthropist, servant leader, business owner, and a personal development coach. I would like to welcome Miss Ashley Dodson to the podcast. How you doing today, Miss?
Hello.
Let me turn this music down for you. Let me turn down this music so we can hear you.
Hey y'all,
So how are
hey.
you today?
I'm well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing amazing. I'm glad to have you on. It's
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate the opportunity to finally get to know you. That's why I was telling you. I'm like, I don't really know you. Like, I don't really know too much about you. I know we've been in the same room, so I know we've been at the same table a couple times. I know I've seen you do events, and I know you do coaching as well. And one thing about me is I like to stay in my lane. Like when people coaching, I like to stay in my lane, and I don't want to step on nobody's toes. But I'm pretty sure that you work with some of the people that I know as well. One of my best friends, Kasai Cook, is one of your good friends. As a matter of fact, she says, she gives warm embraces, and then also I've known that you have partnered with her organization in the past to do some things for the community. So that's as much as I know about you. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you tell these people who Ashley is, because I know I didn't do you no service, or I didn't do you justice.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, where do I start? Again, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. This is dope. I've been watching all the episodes, and just to be amongst all the great leaders, activists, advocates, and everyone that you've had, I appreciate the fact that I am here with you. So to get to it, my name is Ashley D. I go by Coach Ashley Dodson. To others, I also go by Aspirations. I am first and foremost a mother of 5. I have been here in the Las Vegas Valley since 1993. Hey y'all, I get to talk to them and talk back. Been here since 93. My family moved here from Los Angeles. My parents were from Compton in LA. My grandfather was a retired police officer from Compton Police. So this is the place to come and retire. Also, a little bit of the backstory has to do with my mother wanting my father to get his stuff together. We probably get into that a little deeper into why mental health is so big to me. Been here ever since. I went to Pat Disney Elementary School, Grand Story Middle School. I graduated from Advanced Technologies Academy. I was in the business and finance program. From there, I went on to UNLV. My undergrad, I have in mass media and journalism with the emphasis in radio and television broadcast. I also have an emphasis in fine arts with a minor in marriage and family therapy. From there, I went on to start my master's program at UNLV still. I'm in the counseling program. And although I loved the atmosphere and the professors and a lot of the cohort, I found that I felt like I was still missing something beyond just being a counselor. I always know that I've been a person of the community and a life of service, and I have just so many things that I was more broad about. So took a break after doing a year and a half in my first master's. And I was like, you know what? Let me go into social work. It only just makes more sense. I'll still be able to practice as a therapist, but I'll also be able to do things on a broader scope, which is, advocacy, policy work, and all the things that I've been able to circle back and do. So I went on to go get my master's from USC, the University of Southern California. No Trojans fight on. So I'm an alumni, I'm a rebel and a Trojan. So how that works, I don't know. And just the really dope thing about that is I actually decided to go to USC, not only because I'm from California, but my great grandmother, was the first African-American woman to receive her master's in the English department. So I just have a lot of people who have, paved the way for me. And I always think about legacy and what it is that means to me, especially now that I have my own starting 5 that is, needing mama to pave the way. So that's a little bit about my education. I am a mental health coach. I am a personal development coach, business coach. I have been doing this almost 10 years now as a specialist in the field. I am a consultant. I do a lot of things, but mainly my passion is to be of service and to help those get through whatever trauma it is that they have experienced, and just also being able to be your your authentic self unapologetically. I know that that's what has been able to help me through the process. It's just always being me. If anybody can say anything about Ashley D, is that she gonna always be herself, no matter what. So, and that's a little bit about me.
I love it. I love it. That's a lot. You said a lot. You accomplished a lot, and then you said a lot, right? You said how many children you have?
I have 5. My
What?
oldest is 12. Yeah, my oldest is 12.
Right.
My youngest will be 3 soon.
That's right. And you still able to accomplish all you accomplished, man. Hats off to you. That is so amazing. I
They
know
keep me
next week.
motivated.
Yeah, I know they do, don't they? And then you get a little time, to focus as well. But I'm thinking that's a huge distraction too, ain't it?
It can be, because my children, it'd be up and stuck at my house. They, but they're very helpful. They are very mannerable. They're intelligent, and I learn a lot from them. So I'm grateful to be in the space that I'm in, because I didn't think I was going to ever have 5 children, and when I started was a little bit later, or actually a little bit earlier than I expected. But I didn't have my first child until I was 23, and we share a birthday. Me and my son have the same birthday, so.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Out of all your accomplishments, out of all you've done, what has been your greatest accomplishment as a woman? And then say even in business.
As a woman, being able to go through my healing process, just throughout all my life's journey, and being able to evolve and see where I have come from and what I've learned from each experience. So again, just being able to know that I can show up as me, whether people like it or dislike it, and being comfortable in my own skin, because there was a time when I wasn't. Imposter syndrome, whether people believe it or not, can be a thing, and just to even hear you say that you've heard my name precede me in rooms, or that you've seen me before. Sometimes I didn't necessarily think that I was even supposed to be there. Why was I there? And it's been, years. And even sometimes to this day, I'm like, Jesus, I'm here. But besides that, then of course being a mother and raising my children to be the best that they can be, but just really being able to find myself in the process.
Man, that's amazing. Great. That's a great answer. So real quick, I want to let everybody know, we got Ashley D here in the building, in the studio, at home, in the studio. Y'all feel free to chime in. You can ask her questions. You can leave her comments. It's always good for you to interact. As you start interacting, it motivates us to even do more. Throw some hearts up in there. That inspires, gives us energy to do more. That's one of the babies in the back right there.
It was amazing. That's my middle child. She likes to be around her mother a lot.
That's right. Yeah, I got them kids that always want to be around too, and I love it because they get to learn everything about us. So let's talk about
Absolutely.
this. What's something that many people may not know about you? I'm pretty sure some of the stuff you already said they didn't know, but what's something that definitely didn't know?
Wow. Because I feel like a lot of stuff I do share on the social media website and platforms. Y'all gotta excuse my children, but this is obviously a part of my life, so they are
good. I love it. Good.
What they don't know about Ashley D, I love to karaoke. Some people know that, but I love to sing. And that's always been one of my favorite pastimes, probably one of the most therapeutic things that I do. I have full-blown concerts in the car. I don't care who's looking at me on the left or the right. The car is rocking and everything. So if anything, that would be maybe one of the things, but I feel like a lot of people know that. And outside of that, that I love to do things outdoors. I really enjoy being out in the elements and being grounded. So and then I'm socially awkward. That's probably one thing. People think I'm really extroverted, but I'm actually very introverted. I'm an ambivert, but I like to have my downtime when I'm alone and by myself and not eat up with everybody.
What's your favorite karaoke song?
My SWV week.
Yeah.
Yes. That is my jam.
He's up. Thanks, down. That's my terrible.
Oh yeah, okay. We gonna have to go karaoke. We're gonna have to go karaoke.
Hey, Mariposa's on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
All right. Definitely. All right, so we'll move on to this question. What does creating Black history mean to you, Ashley?
What does creating Black history mean to me?
And let's say creating Black history in Las Vegas mean to you?
Well, definitely adding to the culture, being able to expose and share the different parts about Blacks and African Americans and how we move and operate within the city. I know I often hear that, Las Vegas, we don't have culture. And I'm like, where do y'all go? Where do y'all be at? Because where I'm at, it's a lot going on. Like you said, 89106, we have Las Vegas Library, we got the Doolittle Center, Pearson. And if we frequent these places and start to learn about community and one another, then you'll be able to make connections and see what is beyond even these spaces. We have a lot of really great history here just within this city. And there's a lot of dynamic people who are still here. So I just believe that us being able to educate one another on what it is that we have been able to give back to the community, even the things that we do in present times, shaking things up, going up, letting the world know that we are a rich, royal people, and we have a lot to offer. We've been offering and building, this city, this state, this country, this nation, this world, our backs forever. So I just believe that we are history. Black, just being Black is dope.
It is dope. I wouldn't trade it for nothing else. I definitely, especially when I was a child, I probably questioned it at times, but I think that as I got older, I just started learning to love myself more, right? And
absolutely,
that's what somebody was saying on here on one episode. They were just talking about how important self-love is, and now that we are able to express the love that we have for ourselves, I think it's amazing. So they showing you love in the chat. Miss Lynn Grayson said, "Hey Ashley."
Hey guys. Hi.
And then you have Brittany Kemp. The day inside, I think she's talking about the day. That's one of your friends?
Yes, those are all my friends. Hey Brittany, that's also one of my favorite comedic yoga teachers and instructors. She also has, I like to say, Wasted, has blessed me with some great waist beads that I carry around my waist and keep me centered in my spiritual bag. So yeah, shout out to y'all. Hey guys, thanks for joining.
Yeah. Michelle she said she learned how to love me now. Look, oh man. I'm learning how to love me now. That's my process right now.
It's an ongoing journey, because everything isn't always going to be peaches and cream. We all have our rocky moments in life, and especially when you're dealing with your mental and emotional health, you are not always going to be in the greatest state. You're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days, you're going to feel like you're accomplished in certain areas, and other areas you're going to feel like you're lacking. But just giving yourself grace and showing yourself mercy and knowing that the path hasn't ended yet. Your journey continues to go. As long as you have breath in your body, you still have purpose, right? And you should allow your purpose to fuel anything that it is that you want to do, and especially loving yourself. I believe is the number one thing, because if you don't have anything in your cup, you can't pour from an empty cup and uplift and motivate and elevate others. It's impossible. You'll be drained. It's enough energy suckers in this world. So making sure that you are full and you are whole is what's necessary. And I do that on a daily basis through prayer, meditation, listening to affirmations, listening to motivational, videos outside of just those people that I listen to on a daily basis. I love like Les Brown and the Brent Browns of the world. Just eclectic, very broad view from Black, Brown, Indigenous. I listen to everybody that has something great to say, or that can impact me and impact my life. And then that way you can go out and, do the same.
I got to share with you my my library one day. Them all my people. You listen to Eric Thomas?
Absolutely. E.T., he gets me crunk in the morning.
I'm certified with their team with Eric Thomas. I'm a game
changer. That's dope. I love that.
During the pandemic, everything had changed. So a lot of the live presentations, all that got shut down. All the lives, everything went online. So the first thing I did, I'm like, all right, we got this little PPP money. I got to invest some money into myself. So yeah, so we invest in it. Let's get the game changers. Let's invest in it. It was like $2,500. I'm going in everything. Everything I know, like everything you see me do is something that I took from them. It's like I've learned it here, from here, but I listen to everybody just like you do. I listen to the Jim Rohns and the Jack Canfields, and I listen to everybody. And then you just take what resonates with you and then you implement it into your life. You're like, man, like this personal development thing is amazing. It's a journey. And there's so many people that's putting the information out there. Brittany Kemp said, thank you for the shout out.
Absolutely. Y'all need to go follow that woman. Go get wasted, beat it. But yes.
Jordan Herring said, learning to love oneself is the start of true healing. Yes. Michelle said that can't feel. We in there, man. You got a little hive too. Look at you.
I mean, I got support. So I actually shout out to Jordan. He's a part of my core team through my nonprofit organization, the Cannabis Equity and Inclusive Community, where I'm the co-founder and co-president. We have.
Yeah, don't tell too much about that yet. I'm gonna ask you about that. I got you. Real quick. So, and another thing is, I want to let people know real quick because I noticed that on my end you're a little choppy. If they're on their end, if you're a little choppy and if they can't hear you, let us know because I'm at 30 minutes. I'm gonna have you go out and I'm gonna have you come back in. We'll see if you got a better connection.
Okay.
Because you're saying some stuff. I know it don't. On my end, it do. So maybe it just be mine. So if anybody can let us know in the comments, is she smooth? Can y'all hear it? If the volume is good, we're going to make it go. We're going to go through it. But I got another question for you. You ready?
Yes.
See, you froze on my end, but I heard you say yes, though. All right. So to start, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your background and tell us how you got into mental health. That's what I want to know.
Oh, wow. So this gets a little deep.
You got all the time. Go ahead. I'm gonna sit back.
All right. So mental health has been dear to me since my childhood. The first experiences that I have of it is actually with my uncle, who has been passed now for quite some time. But that's when I started to learn about seeing people in their own space or in their own world. I would go outside in California. We could have some, palm trees. It's beautiful. And I would see my uncle outside looking off into the atmosphere, and he'd be laughing and talking to himself. And I just, I didn't think nothing of it at that time. I'm probably like 2 or 3 years old. So I figured he's just enjoying his day. Later on, as I progressed and got older, I would see that it would turn into outbursts and other different things like that. As I got older, I learned later on that my uncle had been slipped a Mickey, as my mother would call it, and ended up having drug-induced bipolar schizophrenia. So with that, as I began to learn more about mental health conditions, I don't like to call them disorders, I prefer to call them conditions. I started to learn more about myself and where anxiety and my social awkwardness would come in. So then as I became more in tune to what I was dealing with, Then, of course, when I started having children is when things started to change even more for me. So after I had my first child, I ended up going into postpartum depression. And I had already experienced anxiety and things to that nature, but nothing that had been diagnosed. So that for me was like part of the game changer. So not only already going into the field and becoming a specialist and going to school for these things, but it literally was part of my purpose to be able to be someone who would be non-judgmental, unbiased, and I call myself a professional listener because I actually care to hear what other people are going through. I understand trauma. I understand being empathetic and people wanting to have a listening ear, not necessarily having feedback or suggestions, and just wanting to be embraced and loved. And then if you do have something healthy to encourage them with, or toolboxes coping skills to add to their toolbox, then that makes sense. Um, it's always been a journey for me, and I believe that the only way to be able to excel in this life is to have a healthy mind, body, and spirit, and not only excel, but excel and thrive in a healthy way. Because of course, you can always go along this journey and then have bad habits and all the things that might push you in a direction, but you won't be operating at your highest level of functioning, as we would say in the mental health world. You want to be operating at your optimal space. So I believe that mental health has just always been what's carried me through everything that I've been able to do. I always associate my life and everything that I do within the community back to how I am serving my mind, body, and spirit.
Man, yeah, mind, body, and spirit. I don't. When we make the connection, it's a whole different world, right? I mean, you can't be mentally healthy if your physical health is off. And I mean, I've been there. I mean, just with like back pain, right? Having a back pain, that pain will stick with you with everything that you do. And then I noticed that with a little back pain, I get irritated. So you can only imagine if there's a mental health condition that's there, how hard it is for you to really maneuver through life, right? To really see things for reality, for really what it is. And then you just never know what a person is thinking about. Just listening to what you said about your uncle looking off, it kind of reminded me, it was like that, what was that, a scene from Friday when it was like smoking with the people in the back of the car and like angel dust or whatever. You don't realize that's very common in our community. And there was a lot of people during the crack time that, it wasn't just crack that messed them up. It was a lot of people that was doing wrong things. You think you in that type of environment, now you go from dealing with a family to depression to drugs to where you're dependent upon that to now you got to see your family. Your family is there, but you don't think that they're going to accept you. That's tough. That's tough. So, we definitely need people like you who are willing to help, because not everybody is willing to help out people in those conditions. So I commend you for that.
I appreciate that. Dylan, and even in that space where you're talking about just addictions, right? Because it doesn't necessarily always have to be drug induced. We have people who have gambling addictions, sex addictions, all the things. And it's about being able to find the resources to have help. And if you want to be helped, because sometimes people haven't gotten to the space where they're ready to transition to a healthier lifestyle. And yes, you have people who get tired of dealing with, people who have repeatedly maybe offended them in ways of dealing with their mental health condition. Families get exhausted, I know, because I deal with them on a regular basis where they don't know what else to do. They don't necessarily have the tools or the training to be able to deal with certain mental health conditions. And that's understandable because it can be exhausting. Even as clinicians and specialists, burnout comes because we're taking on so many different energies and still have to go home and deal with our own stuff. A lot of times we have to compartmentalize, and some people do not know how to decompress. So it's very important to be understanding. And I believe that that's where it's important, especially for us in our Black and Brown communities, to, instead of me looking down on one another, like actually lending a hand and giving a hand up, and I believe we've done pretty well in the Las Vegas community with that. I deal or I work with a lot of the homeless and transient population as well. And it's really disheartening sometimes when you see those people whom it's just like, by the grace of God, there go I. You don't know what happened to that person, especially after the pandemic, people and still are continuing to be put in conditions where they can't afford housing and they can't afford food, and they have to go to these places and spaces where they believe they're going to be able to get the resources that should be available to them, and sometimes they're not, and not in livable conditions. And I just think that, first and foremost, this is being erased, and these are just things that we should have by right, so I could go on and on about that one. That's my social work soapbox. This is what I deal with day in and day out.
But it's important, though. I mean, you're dealing with people who have responsibilities, and it's just not that one person who that problem is impacted. It impacts a whole entire family, whether they got kids or whether if they got a mama, daddy. That impacts. You're right. When it comes to the family, families need that assistance, and they don't always know. I always think back to even like with coaching. I hate to see people not make progress, right? Like if you're digressing and I'm your coach, something is wrong. Like it's something that's completely wrong. And usually it's not the information that's given, it's are you implementing that information when it's given to you as well. So, it's gotta be, you gotta think when it comes to mental health as well, always think like you have to think progressive. You can't think about your problems. You can't think about the pain. You can't think about what you've been through. Your mind has to constantly be on what am I trying to accomplish? Where am I headed? And are the decisions that I'm making getting me there? Are they taking me away, or are they taking me off that path? And so I got so much respect for the mental health. That was why I had so many mental health experts on here. I had Dr. Sheldon on, and Danisha on yesterday. And then to have you on, your background was so extensive in mental health. So, we might end up going into having a mental health discussion. But before we go into mental health discussion, I want people to know about that sign behind you. And can you tell us more about the work that you do for your nonprofit, Love Inc.?
Absolutely. So yes, Love Inc. is LOVEE. It's an acronym for Ladies of Virtue, Eclectically Selling. It's been incorporated since 2017, but I've been doing it for well over like 15 years before I got the paperwork involved. So with that, it is a women empowerment nonprofit organization where, again, we motivate, uplift through education, through a community and life of service. So we provide mentoring, financial literacy, food pantry, clothing closet. We do an array of quarterly events throughout the year. The last one that we just had was with partnership with Health of Southern Nevada, 98.5 KC, where we give out toys. We're able to help families. That has been our 4th year in a row where we've been able to do that. So I'm grateful we've been able to help hundreds of families during their time of need. We do toy drives, food drives. We also have women empowerment conferences. I have a monthly support group where women are able to come and basically get free therapy. It's a free support group that I've been offering for over a year now. And we get together in a safe space. Everything is confidential. Women are able to talk about all things woman. Again, mind, body, spirit, parenting, friendships, business relationships, entrepreneurship, and just being in a space where you can actually be around women who want to see you win. And I think that that's always been one of the main goals and purposes for myself, is knowing that you have other women who are in your corner. You don't necessarily have to have come from the same background, but most times if you share your story, you have similarities within your story where you have gone through the same thing that that woman has gone through or experienced some of the same thought processes that they have. And to be amongst women where you are able to disagree, agree, but also be able to give feedback to one another in a therapeutic and healthy space. So I'm grateful I've been able to still, stand the test of time. I'm thankful for my board members who have been rocking with me for the last several years to help me support the community. We have a backpack drive that we do where we serve hundreds of students, give out backpacks and supplies. I have quite a few donors who continue to, assist and help me in what I do. I was donated 2 buses from the RTC to help with transporting the children and my clients. So I've been blessed, overall to just be able to continue to do what I do. And I want to have this live on and supersede me, and hopefully my children will be able to, take the torch and do what I need them to do. I got 4 girls.
You got 4 girls?
Yes. Hey, Shawnee.
You saw it.
Yes.
It's why you was talking. She's put, let's go. Like,
yes. She's on my board. That is my secretary. Shout out.
Sinead, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. I'm pretty sure she definitely needs you, especially after she just told me all that work she doing.
It's fine.
All those groups. So you say your woman's group. How often you guys meet? How often you ladies?
We meet once a month, and actually just went into another partnership, which is so dope, and I'm so grateful to be a part of, with Sean Torrey in the men's room. So we're going to be adding another element to it, where we are going to be part of. Still coming up with the name, and as you had mentioned, Quentin Savoy, which is my brother. He's also part of the other organization I'm with, CDIC, that you got to hear speak so eloquently today. Was saying that we'll probably call it the ladies' room. So either way, I am excited about that because we're going to be able to incorporate not only what we've already been doing, but discussing restorative justice. So shout out to Sean Torrey for thinking of me and Katrina McKinney. I am so excited about that. So we're going to start that portion of the Women's Support Group next month.
That is amazing. So, they announced it at the men's room last week, and y'all room is gonna be full. Like, y'all gonna be able to pack the house out. And I'm like, that's it got to be in a circle. So it's like, how y'all in that big circle? Y'all gonna have a huge circle. They're gonna have to have microphones. That's what y'all gonna have to have. Passing it down. Talking about this microphone is the talking piece. Picking up
the talking piece. Yeah, I heard something about the talking piece. Yeah, I'm excited because I believe not only will it give women the space to heal, but just on a community aspect, especially with what's going on right now, I deal heavily in the policy space. So just getting our community more active, more engaged, more educated on what's going on. We're in the legislative session. It's crazy how many bills are going through the pipe right now that people need to be speaking up on and making public comment and showing up to the Grand Story building or going up to Carson if they can. These things are like super important, and I believe that being in those spaces and getting kind of dual action is going to be a major plus for us in our community, and we'll be able to show up in numbers. It's beyond voting. It's beyond voting. It's the action that takes place after the voting. If you want to be heard, you have to come and show up or write letters and all the things. But I'm gonna make sure that we get educated in that space and everyone else in that space. So I'm excited.
So I'm glad you said some things. I know we're in legislature, which is great because we're going into the segment of cannabis and equity and what you're doing in that space as well. Before we get in there, I want to give a shout out to Maisha Armstrong. She was like, Ashley.
Another one of my close friends. That's one of my church partners. We praise. We go ham in church. Shout out to the Wesley Place. That's where we attend. So where you went to the Shepherd's Breakfast this morning?
That's where it was crazy. I actually had an experience there today. It was I I was sitting at this table. I'll be real quick because we don't go into your question anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like to have a little dialogue. But when I got in there, it wasn't no seats. You know, people had their little purses there, like, oh, my buddy's sitting here. Oh, she's sitting here. I'm like, if she coming, I'm like, look, how old is she? Because it's gonna take her like 10 minutes to get to the park. I don't gotta eat. Like, let me just sit here. Let me relax for a second. So, you know, I'm just walking around. I'm scoping out the room. I see where the people I know are. I see the people I don't know. That's what I love about the place, right? And then I love the energy there. But it was one spot, and then I was like, man, I'm like, you mind if I sit here? The lady was like, yeah, you can sit here, baby. You can take my purse. So I gave her a purse. She way across the thing. And matter of fact, it was the same lady. They had like these little notebook calendars, giving them out to everybody on the tables. And I'm looking around, and everybody looking at their little notebook. And I'm like, where my notebook? This lady got it. Well, I'm like, hey, can I get one of them notebooks right?
Right.
That's the story, though. That's the story. I just remembered that. It was like, yeah, this lady tried to take all the notebooks. Desiree King was at the table too. I'm like, Desiree, you want a notebook? Desiree, I want a notebook. She had to go get 2 notebooks. Anyway, there was a seat next to me that was empty, and I'm like, so y'all was just gonna make me and somebody else just stand up the whole time. So then finally, this lady come in 20 minutes late, 25 minutes late, and she come in real slow. I'm like, yeah, I could tell you it was gonna take a while to get here. She sit down, and then she sit down, and as I'm just paying attention to her mannerisms, I could just tell her energy. She had like an anointed energy. Like I could feel being spiritual. You just know people who are anointed.
Absolutely.
And this lady was like, she get up. They was like, any pastors in the house? She's like, oh, I'm a pastor. She get up and she get her paperwork, and they give her special paperwork for the pastors. And as I'm sitting there, my spirit just talking to me, and it was like, man. God was like, had this lady pray for you. I'm like, pray for? I don't know this lady, God. What you mean? And like, had this lady pray for you. And I was just feeling some type of way. So I tell this lady, was like, when you leaving, baby? And I'm like, I'm gonna leave as soon as you pray for me. And she was like, really? She was like, well, let's go. Right. So we go to like this little hallway to go pray. And she to me, and I'm summing up. This is amazing what happened. So she's telling me about Jesus, and she's telling me about scripture. And then she grabbed my hand. I look out the window, and it starts snowing outside. I was like, whoa. I'm like, lady, it's snowing right now. And she was like, baby, that's a sign from God. She take out some oil out of her purse, put this little cross on my head.
Anointed the whole head. I know that's right. Yes.
Wipe my whole hands with some oil. Wipe her hands with some oil. It was the most powerful prayer I ever received in my life.
I love it.
Man, it was such a good feeling, and honestly, I felt like it empowered me. It like lifted off some burden off my shoulders. It was real good. So that was just a real quick quest.
Wow, I love hearing stuff like that because again, spirituality is major to me. I'm not as religious as one would think. I grew up in the AME church. I'm African Methodist Episcopal, and I did all the things. I was the YPD president, I was the choir president, and it was just a little too organized for me. It wasn't enough clapping of the hands and enough of the praise and worship that I wanted to encounter. So as I jumped off the porch pretty early in my youth, I decided to start hopping around from church to church until I found the places where I felt most comfortable. And within the last, I'd say like 7 years, it's been in between the Wealthy Place, which used to be known as Ebenezer, and Mountaintop. Music is what keeps, I love the word, but music and praise and just being able to give reverence to God and use that as my way of exalting Him and breaking through whatever it is that I need to is always my go-to. So definitely, I love the fact that you were able to do that. And I have some serious prayer partners and prayer warriors that are in my corner saying, like, having intercessors who are able to pray on your behalf and you be able to pray on somebody else's behalf has so much of a different power than people believe in. Shout out to my best friend and my co-president, Ashley Dodson, because we pray, right? And she prays for me. I believe it. But yeah, the power of prayer is indescribable. But as you said, it'll do something to you and for you. So, I'm glad you were able to indulge in that while you was about to take that one seat.
Look. I walked to the back like, hey, can I get some chairs, everything, man? Like, I tried. No, it's beautiful. And I always pay attention to them signs because I think we don't pay attention to the signs enough. Like, I feel like God is constantly trying to connect with us. Spirit is constantly trying to connect with us. And if you pay attention to just people, like, honestly, most of my blessings come through people, right? And they come through helping people, or I come through random moments like that where I don't even know you, and you're gonna take the time to pour out all your energy on me, man. Look, we great. All right, so I didn't know about this, but this is about to be one of my favorite parts of the interview. So great that I know this, because I've been wanting to come to y'all meetings for a while. Yeah, because I always see the newsletter. I sign up for all the newsletters, so I'm in the know, and I definitely want to be there. So my question for you is: you're also the co-president and co-founder of the Cannabis Equity and Inclusion Community, CEIC. Can you tell us more about the organization and the work that you do there?
Absolutely. So the Cannabis Equity and Inclusion Community was established in 2018. We are a 501c3 and a 501c4. I am the president of the 501c4, which deals with more of the policy and advocacy side. As you were able to see and meet Quentin Savoy, he's our vice president, who is now the NAACP president. Shout out to him. My brother is doing some great things in this community. And what we do is we help those get in position for freedom, equity, and opportunities. Because of the failed war on drugs, we have many people who have been disenfranchised and impacted negatively. So what we have been able to do is, round up the troops, get the people in the community to know that their voice can be heard. We have made some great wins in the community where we've been able to recently, with the help of the ACLU in Nevada, be able to go up against the Board of Pharmacy and sue them, where we did win the lawsuit, so that cannabis can be descheduled. So right now in the legislature, what we're doing, and the bill is being carried by Assemblyman Ruben Silva to have it removed as far as law is concerned, so that it will not be scheduled at all when it comes to, I believe, the Constitution. So those are the types of things that we do. We also had another victory, I want to say the session before last, AB 158, which was our juvenile justice bill, which prevents our youth from being hemmed up by the police and taken to jail for having cannabis. There are still some things that we are currently working on where Washoe County was able to find some type of loopholes where we're cleaning that up as far as vapes and things are concerned. Because, a lot of our children, again, talking about addiction, the things that they get caught up in, whether it's medicinal or whatever, it takes more rehabilitation and education than sending our youth to jail. And then, of course, we are still fighting for those who have been convicted with, insurmountable amounts of time for a plant now that has been regulated, that people are selling out of dispensaries, and just to be, very upfront, not look like us. They're not black and brown. They are white counterparts. And everything that we built on our backs and they put us under the ground for, in jails for, they're thriving off of. So now I can also say proudly that we were able to get consumption lounge licenses passed out of the 10 social equity licenses that were given away by the CCB. 7 of our members received those licenses, which is so dope. So we're going to have more entrepreneurship in the Black space when it comes to consumption lounges. So I need everybody to make sure that they, stay abreast. And even if you don't engage in cannabis, just learning the policy and advocacy side can help you, even when it comes to all the other things that are going on, because it's not just about cannabis. It helps us when it comes to social equity issues. You know, we get to talking about the food deserts, how we don't have grocery stores in certain places, affordable housing, how we lack that, low income housing, and all these things have trickled down and affected us because of the failed war on drugs, and how our people have been so disenfranchised and have been operating in lack. And that's what I really want for us to be able to be empowered by, and no longer move in mindsets of lack. We are a royal people. We come from riches and gold, and we are very skilled, very intelligent, and I believe that as we, reach one, teach one, uplift one another, we already unstoppable. But when we actually really believe it and we come together and do it, it's a wrap. They already afraid of us. So I mean, we ain't doing nothing new.
Yeah, Shanae Glass had an amazing job. Aisha was like, cannabis. And she prayed for you too. She said, don't forget she prayed for you too.
Oh yeah, she prays for me too. She lays hands. We lay hands on each other. Let me go back up. It's serious. As much as I play and have fun, it's as much as I praise and do my thing when it comes to God. If it wasn't for him, I would not be in this position. And I'm forever grateful that he just has been able to, make sure that I'm a chosen child of his.
So what made you decide to align yourself with that mission, with the CEI?
Wow. So this is where it gets.
Yeah,
get to know more about me, Yeah.
These ain't none of I told you the scripted questions. Don't worry about them.
How get about with cannabis? Interesting. So I was always one of those people who actually believed in the stigma, like, oh, all the homies are smoking, all they want to do is get high and be turned up, sleep, eat, and forget. And I just was like, I'm not into that. And I definitely was more or less not into the aesthetic of smoking at that time because I sang. So not only that, and then just the whole thinking the mind altering and knowing what my uncle had experienced before his passing. So I just had all these predispositions in my head without having real education behind it, right? So I would say in 2017, after I had a mental health breakdown, this was I want to say, still experiencing like some postpartum depression, was going through relational issues, business issues, just all the things. And my anxiety had reared its ugly head. Depression was at its height for me. And I was always a firm believer that I don't want to do any psychotropic drugs. I studied them for a long time, opioids, all the pandemics and people, constantly overusing. I didn't want to become addicted because I do come from a family of addiction, addictive people who have addictive behaviors. So I started seeing Coach Canna, and also known as Aisha Goins. She is also the founder and president of CEIC. And by way of actually my forever friend, Jeremy Washington, which was her business mentor at that time. He had wrote a book, and I'm like, who is this woman? So I started following her, like low-key stalking her to learn more, right? Because I was just very interested and intrigued. And once I found out that she was in a space, in the cannabis space, I wanted to learn more about how it can help me with my mental health. So I decided to go and see what it was about. I had a consultation. That's when I learned more about the plant and how there are terpenes involved, and there's all this other great stuff inside of the plant outside of making pie. So once that happened, I learned about CBD. That's how I started with the hemp, and then got to a one-to-one, and I just noticed a major change in my anxiety, in my depression, in my day-to-day. And I don't use like on a regular basis. It literally is a medicine for me, which I did not want to take again. Pills. I didn't want to be strung out on those. So that's how I got into the cannabis space. I was stalking Aisha. She became my business mentor, business coach. I was her mentee, and things just fell in line. I became very interested in how I can help impact the community, and it just happened to be by way of cannabis. You know, so yeah, it kind of just fell into it. I didn't start using cannabis until 2017. I was old.
Ain't nobody gonna judge you. Who judging you?
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, who judging you? Ain't
And
nobody judging you.
upstairs.
Ain't nobody.
Baby, listen, I tell people all the time, hey, Kasai. I learned over time to not allow people to bother me and what they think.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all that meant. I mean, if you telling people that all the time, I'm pretty sure you tell people that all the time.
I do.
Too,
And sometimes it don't come out.
So the work that y'all doing with CEIC is so important. As a business coach, I go research businesses. I'm like, who owns this dispensary and who owns this dispensary?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking and I'm learning. I'm like, oh, it's this lawyer group. It's a whole lawyer. Oh no, they got a whole practice over here doing injury law, but they part of the cannabis industry. And I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, how did these people really get into it? And then you start learning more, and you got to have a certain amount of money in order for you to even get a license. I remember when licensing was first available here, it was like a lottery system, I think they said, or something like that at first, or something like that. But majority of the people were, it was Caucasian, it was lawyers, it was doctors, it was all these people who didn't look like us who was getting these dispensaries. And then I didn't start seeing the first Black dispensary until last year. I was driving down Valley, and then there was something. It was like the first Black dispensary, and then I think Deep Roots had opened up as well. And what work was done in order to make sure that we had equity, because we were already behind on the curve. Like, they was only giving out so many licenses, right? And then once all those licenses was given out to folks that didn't look like us, it was very limited. So what was the work that y'all put in for that?
That work is still going, right? So the word social equity has kind of been diluted. Sometimes even utilizing it doesn't do us justice, because as you said, in that space, we have been still blocked out, right? they found a way to still try to figure out how to keep us out, even with allowing so many social equity licenses to be given. But then you have these people who have in some way been predatory, have monopolized the cannabis industry because they are the ones who have those type of funds. Even with the way that the licensing is set up now for those who have been awarded the social equity licenses, they still have a certain type of money that they have to, show is liquid. Fees, we're in the process now of trying to get certain fees reduced in the legislature. It's a lot, unfortunately, there's still a lot of barriers. It's not perfect yet, thankfully we are making headway, I guess, to say the least, but it's still not good enough, so we're fighting for it every day. Literally, myself and my co-president, we were in Carson going to our legislators, talking to them about these very same things and how can we make a difference, because again, it's outside of what we voted for. Nevada, you're already automatically registered to vote. If y'all didn't know, when y'all go to the DMV, they register you, and then you need to be picking if you're going to be Democrat, nonpartisan, Republican, whatever. At the end of the day, you need to have your voice heard. So just being up there and doing this as basically an unpaid lobbyist and speaking on behalf of our community about what this looks like for us is powerful. So that's why I'm grateful to be able to listen to everyone's stories and those who've been impacted and families that continue to be impacted. And there's a lot of people who want to be in the industry and still are trying to figure out how can they get in, and just in entrepreneurship, period. But there's a lot of people who started from their homes. We call it the legacy market, where that's where they're trying to legalize all these things and make it to where it's not criminalized, but they still find a way to criminalize us in certain instances. So those are the things that we are fighting for every day. Those are the things that I'm fighting for every day. Those are the community events I'm showing up to, the emails that I'm sending out, the people that I'm talking to on a regular basis. It's a constant fight, but I just believe that, our people are a strong people, and we're going to continue to do what we have to do no matter what. I'm not going to allow anybody to shut me out based off of the color of my skin. And our ancestors fought way too hard for us to give up. We've come a long way. And I've told plenty of people, like, this is light work compared to what they had to go through. Thankfully, I mean, there's still some things that are modern day slavery, but we're not necessarily bound by balls and chains and, we might walk through places uncomfortably, but we can walk through them, So, and if we're going to do it, we do it proudly, we do it boldly, and we do it with expectation. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to give you an opportunity, because my next question was actually, because I know you didn't really dive into what the challenges are, what some of the issues are. So you just want to name like 2 challenges, like something that we really up against and something that y'all really fighting for.
When it comes to the cannabis industry or social equity and social,
I'm gonna say when it comes to the lack of representation in the cannabis industry.
Definitely the amount of funds that are expected. It's not as easy for our people to just reach out to family members or friends and ask them for tens of thousands of dollars, and they do it, right? Like, you barely can borrow $10 without somebody asking you for it back next week. So that is one of the spaces where it's hard. However, because we have the Cannabis Business School and the Pathway to Ownership, we've been able to educate our members and get them in spaces and rooms where they can talk with investors who are actually interested, and being able to vet out those who actually have an interest in assisting our people and not making it a predatory situation and taking advantage, right? So yes, the cash and the liquid, it has been an issue, and there's several other things that could be different, like how the jurisdiction stuff is set up and where we can operate and have the lounges. But I believe that those are all minor barriers, right? Because the bigger picture is just being able to get your business up and running and actually showing them that you are capable of providing product and service in a space where you've been kept out, and then do it and excel and exceed at it because you've been doing it anyway before, right? So,
do you see Hispanics having the same issues? I mean, I know if you go like to California, you like Burner and all of them people from like Lit and Cookies, they pretty much stabilized the game. I mean, if you look at it, like, they've been there since when the magazines with High Times was coming out from San Francisco, right? These people have been in these magazines forever. Do you see them going through the same barriers that we're experiencing?
Absolutely, especially because the cannabis equity and inclusion community, we represent those predominantly who are Black, Brown, and Indigenous. So we have members that are of Hispanic descent or Indigenous descent. Some of them who have been awarded the social equity licenses, and they go through the same issues that we go through. And I believe that is another place where, although people still find Blacks and Browns to be divisive, we all experience a lot of the same things. And that's where it's better for us to come together and figure out how to fight this war and this battle together than it is separately. But that's people over generations of time having to really figure out how to move as one and as a unit, but it takes work. That's ongoing.
It's crazy how I was just thinking, it's crazy how during like the crack epidemic, they still wouldn't allow you to have marijuana, but now that we in this opioid epidemic, things have changed. That's the alternative. And You know, it's crazy because you go to our neighborhoods, people been using this medicine to medicate themselves for years. Like, you know, you're dealing with people who dealing with trauma on a day-to-day basis, and they never ever incorporated the two. These people deal with trauma and smoke marijuana, and maybe it eliminates the problems. When I was with Metro, for 3 years, and I've never taken a person to jail for marijuana. Not because no one smoked. It was because when you smoke, you just don't become violent. Like, you don't. The last thing you want to do is have drama and stress in your life. So, you know, it's just crazy where we at right now. And when I was with Metro, marijuana was illegal at the time. So, you know, we were still testing for it and taking people to jail for it at our own discretion. But luckily, on the west side, I worked in the 89106. You know, being culturally competent, you know, this is not how I want to catch my people up. Absolutely. Probably why I ain't here no more. Yeah, that's probably why I ain't here no more.
Well, see, that's the thing, because we need people like you in there. You know, I'm not about to go too deep off into what I believe about the police. I know that there needs to be I was raised by the police, so I have
you said today, a
type of respect for them, but I also don't mess with the police, to say the least. I have grown to have great understanding on how to deal with those who are supposed to protect and serve us, right? And sometimes that's not always the case. But mentioning what you said as far as cultural competence, I'm also a DEI trainer, so diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that I speak to on a regular basis, dealing with, you know, cultural and unconscious bias and covert and overt racism and all the things. So I believe that is something that should be taught and trained in every business, especially in those spaces where people who are dealing with those that don't look like them, don't have any inkling or thoughts about their cultural backgrounds, or even an understanding, because they don't know how people respond, you know. So yeah, well, I appreciate you serving for the 3 years that you did and not taking people to jail for marijuana.
2 years. They mad at me though. I used to take their weed and grind it in the ground like, ugh. Can't do nothing with that. Like,
oh my goodness.
It's value for me. Let me get these comments up. Malachi Williams said, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, we don't got too much more. I didn't have you on over an hour. I appreciate your time. I know the baby's probably like, oh, my mama back. So I'm gonna ask you a few of these. These are quick. They're not even that long. If you go long, that's on you. But they're not that long. What would you say has been your biggest accomplishment so far in your career? Biggest accomplishment.
My biggest accomplishment in my career. Just being able to help those out of situations that I didn't know if they were going to be able to. So that kind of is broad, but just being able to help my clients reach higher levels of self-esteem, self-love, seeing themselves in a different space in life than what they believe themselves to be prior to. So just being able to always help others find who they truly are and love that about themselves, and encouraging people. So I would say that's probably always the highlight of my career, because my career is so broad. I do so much. But, yeah.
All right. Let me see who in these comments. Jordan, great combo. Need more like this. We doing them, man. We doing them. Tune in, come follow me. We got a whole lineup. We've been doing this every day. Like every day is somebody dope. Like when I say dope, they dope. Like they've been amazing folks. So thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you. Ashley, here go another good one for you. What advice would you give someone who wants to make a positive impact in their community, especially in the area of mental health? Or cannabis. No, I don't want to just say mental health. You can say which one you want.
Community. That right there already is unity. And what I always tell people, the main reason why, and just like you said, you always see me is about showing up. That's the only way you're going to be able to ever get the work done is showing up and putting forth the effort. And I believe that even in the space of mental health, cannabis, no matter what it is, just showing that you are actually wanting and willing to be there and be of service, that's how the change happens, right? So just showing up, show up, and be a part. Let the people, see you do the work.
I think it's perfect advice. You think about an introvert, extrovert, right? Introvert, I want to get in the community, I want to help people, but I don't want to really be in the forefront. Align yourself with one of these nonprofits, right? Like,
absolutely.
Actually, not nonprofit. And then when you align yourself with those nonprofits, you usually find people who have common interest in you. Not just common interest, these are people who are giving people. Like, why would you not want to be around people who give and who care about kids, who care about the mental health, who care about people homelessness? These are your angels of the world. Like, seriously, these are your guardian angels. These are the people who seek to help people every day. They're not waiting for people to call them. For the most part, when they look around and then when the phone call, phone ring, it always answered. So y'all are the angels of the community, especially in mental health. And I want to shout out people like Sheldon, Dr. Sheldon, because I remember he created that space not too long ago for providers and for therapists, counselors, and the main focus behind it was their own personal mental health. Right? After you all week, you pouring into everybody, you listening to all these stories. How are you refilling your cup? How are you taking care of your mental health, preventive and if there's something going on, like what are you doing? Who is your support group? Right? A lot of these people are introverts as well, so they don't have too many friends. But going back to what you said, how important community is, and having a community in everything, right? Not just when it comes to like finding your purpose, but having a community when you're doing anything in life. The people at your school, if you're a child, figure out who the community is that is excelling, and then align yourself with them. Same thing with at your job, align yourself with the people that are excelling. Always align yourself with people that's doing something and that love to do, right? I told y'all to get you out of here, now I'm talking too much.
No, you're good. But I mean, even like you said, just to touch on that, self-care is important. I call myself a self-care junkie. So if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to again be able to pour from an empty cup. So whether that's going on a hike, exercising, drinking more water, getting massages, whatever it is that makes you feel good and allows you to be in a space where you can be with yourself and your thoughts and positive thoughts. And winding down, we all need a moment. So as you were saying, again, I'm an ambivert. I'm more introverted than I am extroverted, even though people don't believe me when I say that, but I swear I am. Me time is so important, and that's what continues to keep your balance, because work-life balance, home life balance, whatever, it's necessary. And if you can't find that, then it's always, you're always going to be off. You're always going to have times when you're in chaos and confusion, and who wants to live like that? So if it gets like that, you need to tell people to stop, back up, give you 50 feet, and let you figure it out and do that. Yeah. Amari, do you want to say something? Y'all want to let me say hi.
They in there. I got the whole family there. We got 2 of the 3 right there. We got 2 of the 5, 2 of the 5. How you doing, beautiful? Good to see you. What's your name?
What's your name? Amazing.
Your name is Amazing? That's my favorite word. That's my favorite word. Amazing. What's my favorite?
Yes.
And then where the other baby at? Where the other baby?
This is my oldest daughter, Dang.
How you doing?
Yes. I'm doing good.
What is your name, young lady?
Amaria.
Amaria. Beautiful name. You proud of your mom? Yeah? Your mom is pretty dope. Your mom is pretty amazing. Thank you for letting me borrow her for an hour and 15 minutes. We're going to wrap this up real soon. I got y'all. All right, Ashley. Definitely, I gotta ask you this. Can you speak to your vision for the future of the Black community in Las Vegas and then what you're working towards?
I want us to continue to grow together, unify, work more collectively in collaboration together, removing a lot of ego out of spaces and rooms where this really shouldn't even be. And this is just me being transparent from what I know and what I see to be in the community often. But there's so many people who work so well together. As far as the future of Las Vegas, making sure that we are able to buy back our land, being able to cultivate and have, even for my own personal vision, I want to have blocks on blocks on blocks. I want to own the grocery store, the hospital. I want to have housing, multi-unit family units, like all the things. And I'm going to have that. And I want that for everybody who thinks that they should have that. And, just our people being educated. Yeah, I speak over my life. I speak life. No matter what's going on. I'm telling you, and I believe that whatever people desire they should have. I say this all the time because I do vision board parties regularly. That's another thing that our empowerment group does, is that you think what you speak and you speak what you create. So if you're constantly speaking negatively, that's going to happen. But if you're continuously speaking things positive, even when chaos is going on, eventually in the subconscious mind, it will turn into powerful thoughts, which will eventually turn into powerful things. So manifest. Everybody always talking about manifesting. Manifest that.
Right. I love it. Malachi said, keep grinding, Ashley. We are watching.
Malachi always grinding too. Shout out to Malachi. He's like one of the dopest artists on the planet. I appreciate you, bro.
Izzy, I'm gonna have to team up with him too. Malachi, reach out.
Yes, he does a lot. He does a lot.
Yeah, that's all community stuff. We got a lot of stuff going on in the 89106, and I want to see all those creative businesses, everybody who want to do something, join in on the community. So I only got 2 more things for you. Yeah. This one is real good. Usually people be like, I forgot you. I'm sorry if I forgot you. But I hope you practice and I hope you prepare. Who are some community members that you would like to acknowledge?
Well, of course, my squad, my core team, CIC, I got some dope members within that group. So, of course, Asia Duncan, Aisha Goins, Quinta Savoy, Jordan Harry, Ron Baker, Chandler Cooks, I hope I'm not missing Angie T, who else? Gary, that's the core team, and all the members of CEIC, shout out to them. As far as people like in the legislator, people who are always championing things for us, shout out to C.H. Miller, DMN Danielle Monroe Moreno, Ruben and Silva, who else? Brittany Miller, shout out to Asha Jones, she's our chief of staff. For Congressman Horsford, shout out to Congressman Horsford. I can go on and on. Who else? Miss China over at West Las Vegas Library. She has always been one of my favorites. Lord have mercy. Shout out to my pastor, Bishop McDonald over at the Wealthy Place. Shout out to my Love Inc. squad. Those are all my community members. I can go on and on. There's so many people. You put me on the spot. Next time I have to write a list. But those are people that I'm around often, so, and that's, and shout out to Attar. That's another Attar Hasibu of the ACLU. He always drops some gems. He's a heavy hitter in the community too, yeah.
That's everybody at the Shepherd Breakfast today.
See? Bam. I'm telling you.
Everybody was there. Everybody in the room. Yeah. That's our, and don't ever say we don't got community, right? We got community.
Man.
I was listening to Clinton talk earlier. He said he only been here for 5 years. I'm like, bro, you doing all this and you been here for 5 years?
Heavy hitter. My brother is something else. He gonna be the president of the United States one day. I told him that last night. Actually, I was like, what?
I didn't know he was that big of a dude. Yeah, that's a big dude.
Yes. And he is a man for the job. He
So I'm
speaks
looking.
so eloquently. He does his thing. So I'm grateful for him too.
Yeah. All those people, honestly, they definitely all deserve to be commended. Those are all beautiful, amazing people. I love the work that they're doing, and I love that they just doing it unapologetically. And most of all, they doing it together, right? That circle. That circle is an amazing circle. I'll be there soon. You know, I have to go to a couple of meetings.
You there?
Well, you know, I gotta make you familiar. You know, we know him, right? Yeah, somebody invited him.
Listen, I told you all I did was show up. Then eventually people start being like, who is that?
Yeah, who is it? Might as well be your friend, right? You're gonna be here regardless.
Yeah.
All right. So how can we support Ashley? Love Inc., whatever your efforts are. How can we support you?
Well, definitely, following them on the social media platforms. So, Love Inc., becoming a member of the Women's Empowerment Group, CEIC, same, becoming a member. We are on IG, Facebook, Twitter, all the things. Also supporting me by subscribing to my website, which is CoachAshleyDodson.com. That's where you can sign up for personal development training, leadership coaching, all the things, consulting. I have that all in a one-stop shop. And then I also have a clothing brand with one of my best friends. It's called Besties & Co. It is a apparel line where we motivate and have uplifting, sayings. So you should check that out. But that's how you can support me, and just by being available to the community, more or less. Beyond is beyond me, it's bigger than me, but that's how you can support Coach Ashley.
I love it. Now, Ashley, are you an author?
So I have something that I've written before, but it's music wise, that's published. But as far as my book, I probably am about another month out before I actually get into talking about that and getting it published and released. So, but I've been writing. I have quite a things that I've written. Actually,
Spirit told me to ask you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
A little cat out the bag.
Spring 2023.
So it's only two people on right now, and I'm gonna tell you this. So there's a secret behind all that I'm doing. So all of these interviews are going to become something.
I love it.
They're going to be something great, and they're going to be something so great that everybody's going to have a piece, and they can have a piece of it, and they can do whatever they want to do with it. They can sell it, they can whatever. It's going to be amazing. So be prepared. You're going to have your name on another publishing or something.
I appreciate it. Listen, that's another thing that I do, copywriting. So whatever, let me know.
Everybody. Yeah, because all these can be transcribed as well. So real quick, so this is my last part. You know what I do last?
Do I know how to do lashes?
I'm just asking, do you know what I do last on these interviews? Do you know what last? We got some glasses on. Yours on free though. You good over there? You good over there?
Thank you. It's like, no. I think I'm about to be surprised.
All right, so I don't know if you watched the previous episode. If not, you should, because the guest always introduces the next guest, and I don't know if they know them or not. So I'll just be like, "Tell me about this person. What do you know about this person?" And yesterday was Danisha Mingo, and he said some amazing things about you, so you should check it out. You should check it out.
Okay, I'm definitely going to check it out. Well, I used to work with Danisha. She was a high school friend, and she was another one. Oh, okay. She told y'all. Okay.
All right. So you ready for your person?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Let me pull this up. My transitions is not always the best, y'all.
You're sure I know this person? Look, I'm like,
no, I'm not sure you know them. I think you should know them. It's probably one of the most popular people in our city, I think. Let me see. Why his picture ain't popping up? Go ahead. Matter of fact, while I'm pulling up his picture, why don't you get him some parting words?
Okay. Wow. I'm always trying to because I want to be in my space. I discern a lot of things. So a lot of times I'm like, whatever it is that I'm going to say, I want to be able to touch somebody. So no matter what space you're in your season, I always tell people like right now, I feel like this is a season of restoration for many people, including myself, and that while on your journey and moving through these different spaces and in your lane, is just continuing to keep fighting, keep standing up for what you believe in, and loving yourself on the journey and giving yourself grace. Because no matter what, even if you feel like you're in a position where you're not doing the best or you're failing, you can always start over. You can start over again and again and again and again. So never giving up and believing in yourself and being unapologetically you and not caring what other people think about you or your story, because it's your story. Nobody else is writing it but you and God. So
I love it. I love it. You got any more you want to say?
Thank you for taking the time to interview me and, reaching out and let me know that you believe that I'm doing something in this community. Because little old Ashley. But I appreciate everything that you've been doing and taking the time to give people their flowers. And I definitely appreciate you and want to give you yours because you do so many great things. I also was able to finally meet you because I've heard lots about you, obviously, being from one of my best friends, Kasai, being a coach and mentor to her, but also the things that you've done in the community. I saw you were able to receive awards together from from Minister Stretch. That's another one of my community brothers. Yes, him and McCurdy. Now you got all these people. I'm sorry, y'all, if I forgot y'all. I love y'all. Please don't hold it to my head, not my heart. But yes, you're amazing, and continue to keep doing what you're doing. This is dope, and I think it's necessary.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. 100, 100, 100, 100. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right, you ready? Here we go. I appreciate you, Ashley. Thank you so much. So our next guest on the 1828 project. I know you know this dude, right?
This one. Absolutely. It's going to be none other than
hold on. I need your extrovert. I need you to bring your extrovert self out. I need karaoke Ashley right now.
Alrighty. So next on Creating Black History in Las Vegas is none other than one of my most recognized community uncles, friends, has been a mentor to me since I was a kid almost. Oh my goodness. Is Sweet Lou Collins, also known as Lou Vegas. If you've been here, then you absolutely have to know who this man is. He is amazing. And I definitely know that this is going to be a conversation that's going to be turned up. So definitely tune in.
That's right. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Lou, for being tomorrow's episode. Ashley, you are amazing. You are doper than I could even imagine. I was like, I heard she was good, but I didn't know she was this good. You got a lot in your story. It needs to be heard. Definitely got to publish that book. I don't know what the book about, but we need the Ashley. I'm gonna need the Ashley book too.
That's what it is. It's called The Memoirs of Ashley D. So it's a compilation of all my journals and poems and stories of my life. Yeah, since I've been doing this thing that I've been doing.
I can't wait. And look, I didn't even know the superstar herself came on and blessed us.
Yes.
Said, hey, sis. Angie, what's up? Thank you for coming on for a second. Thank you for showing Ashley some love. Ashley, thank you for joining me today. You great. You amazing. Next time I see you, now I know a little bit about you. I'll make sure I embrace you. And whatever you need some assistance from me, it's all good. I got you. Stacy told me she wanted to let you know. Hey, I'm sorry I missed it. Tell her to go watch the replay.
Right. Run it back. Run it back. It's gonna be on YouTube, right? And all the things.
It's on YouTube too. That's where you saw Kasai at. Kasai was on YouTube watching you. Stacy said that Ashley is a GOAT. Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
You out to support us today. Look, shout out to everybody who came out. Follow us. Come follow me, Brandon Ward,
Please.
Follow me. Great content always, but also look for this series. Ashley is amazing. Ashley not the only amazing person that's been on this show. We have had a community of amazing people. Even if you just use these shows to introduce yourself to these people and who they are, so that you can get to know more about them and you can introduce yourself to them when you see them in the community, because these are great people. Not just that, man. Always let people know that they're doing a great job in their efforts. That people need to see, get their flowers. Ask everything that you've done. You deserve to be awarded. You deserve to be recognized. I'm just one of the first ones to jump on the bandwagon and do it. I'm pretty sure it's so much more coming for you. Your career is going to be promising. Your mission is promising. You're going to have the support from us guaranteed. You already got a great team behind you. Got a great family, some beautiful children. Man, I'm praying for you. I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Was that amazing?
That was amazing.
Amazing! It's the best name in the world. That's crazy. That's the name. All right, amazing. You want to say anything? We had a lot of people watching. You want to say bye to people?
Say happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
That's right, baby. Thank you. All right, Ashley, I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead with them babies. I know you probably got dinner to cook or something.
Yeah, it's thawed out, so that's what's happening next.
All right, you take it. I'll see you around. All right, keep creating Black history.
Appreciate you.
All right. And that's it. Another amazing episode. I'm so happy to have Ashley on. I was looking forward to it. She brought her community with her. So shout out to Ashley's community for coming on, showing her love. That's always a blessing to know that you're doing work, not just that you're doing the work and you helping people, but that you got a tribe and a community behind you to support you. That matters. And as a praying woman, you can only imagine how important it is for you just to be able to pray for somebody like that, especially when you're anointed. Ashley, you can pray for me any day. I know you're anointed as well. I be letting all the anointed people pray for me. I don't know what happened. I be having transformations just be happening in my life, and it all coming through in prayers. And I'm just aligned with the right people right now. Look, the 1828 Project is amazing. Next month, we're doing something for Women's History Month as well. I'm gonna have a whole setup for the women. I'm having all the amazing women on. I talked to Piper today. I talked to everybody today. I got who else? I got Sparkle coming on. I got Tasha Robinson White coming on from Vanguardian Global. I got some heavy hitters coming on. I'm trying to get Ms. Goins, our North Las Vegas mayor, to come on. We going heavy hitters. I'm telling you, I'm not playing with nobody this year. Vegas is in. Vegas is on top, and it's our time. And we got everybody that we need in the right places. It's like a chess game, right? You got to know how to use these pieces for all our own benefit. We got to know how to advance each other, right? We got a community, and it was something that came up during, and I know what happens in the men's room stays in the men's room, but this is just something I really wanted to just bring forward. But it was talking about us having not just a community, but we got to be like a military. We got to be like an army. And the thing that's important about an army is that no matter what your rank is, everybody has a value in their position, right? If it's somebody that's folding clothes and folding towels, we need that. If it's somebody that's at the gate checking people in, we need that. If it's somebody that's checking bombs, we need that. If somebody that's flying planes, we need that. Everybody has a purpose. As long as you stay in your lane and you give it your all in your lane and we support you through the process, we can only succeed. And that's what we all about, progression and doing better. We got community here. Let's take advantage of the community that we have. With that being said, I'll see you tomorrow with Sweet Lou Collins. He didn't give me a bio, but I know it's Lou. So Lou is amazing. He's going to do great tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. With that being said, keep creating Black history in LV. Follow the channel, like, share, whatever. If you didn't watch it live, go watch the replay. That's why we got it there, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. All right. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And we out.